Vicky Marie, so sorry to be late as I set this stream, I think, for 8:15. And then, as always happens, everything. So what happened was I got dropped some makeup on my white blouse. God, I love white. It's one of my favourite colours. I like all the I like to wear sort of block colours, but yeah, dropped a bit of makeup there. And had to try and get that out. It's not completely out, but hopefully by the time I get some washing up liquid on it, some bleach on it, get it through the washing machine. I just don't even know how it happened. 1 minute it wasn't there. Then I had to put the washing out because the washing machine finished. And I had to get the washing out because I don't do ironing. So I have to get stuff out of the washing machine quickly so that it doesn't need, normally then in the heat and the humidity, you don't need to iron anything. So there's my bit of waffle. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, it's not often in the true crime world that you wake up to some possible good news, is it? And then when I woke up this morning, I was looking into Jack and Lily's case, Jack and Lilly Sullivan, of course, his siblings that disappeared in Nova Scotia in Canada. 1 minute they were there, the next minute they were gone. Been extensive searches made for them. We've seen the stepfather talking a lot, haven't we? The mother disappeared on the second day, Malehya. Just disappeared from the area. He went off with her baby, didn't stay in the area to see if her little babies would be found. It's a very odd case. And that's why it's garnered so much attention, I suppose, not only in Canada, but all over the world. Where are these two little ones? Little children wandering off into the woods. I mean, it's possible, isn't it? They could have wandered off could have fallen in a river. They could be hiding somewhere and, they're tiny things. But, or something more untoward happened to them. Was the foul play we saw yesterday. They live near a road. It's like a very remote property, but there's quite a big road nearby. So did somebody going past see them, pick them up, take them off? Now what's coming out this morning, and that's why I'm doing this live stream, is this sort of good news. So a relative of Malehya, the mother, let's have a look at the mother and stepfather. Because, of course, the stepfather's come in for so much. Well, both of them come in for so much. They're as sketchy as anything, aren't they, basically? But the stepfather, we watched the video yesterday. It's Daniel, isn't it? Daniel and Malehya. And these two little ones are Malehya's biological children, but not Daniel's. But Malehya and Daniel have got I've got a baby between them. And the baby is with Malehya at the moment, wherever she is. So these two children, we saw the grandma, the paternal grandma talking yesterday. They've had no contact with their biological father for 3 years. And, we don't know the absolute reasons. He's got a court case coming up in October. Don't know what for. Is he a bad person? Apparently he applied for custody of these two children and was refused custody. And after that, he sort of gave up, apparently. We don't know the whole story, of course. We haven't heard Malehya's side of it. There are always two sides to every story, aren't there? But the one thing we do know for certain, we don't, nobody can dispute, is these two children have not been seen. It's about a month now that they've not been seen, and the police were searching, but then they had to stop searching. But then they're doing like spot searches, aren't they? Weekend searches and things. They did a search, was it last weekend or the weekend before? But since then, the authorities have been very quiet about it. But anyway, what woke up to this morning that we're going to talk about in this video is not only a massive reward has been announced, 150,000 presumed Canadian dollars. Massive amount of money, isn't it? And money talks, doesn't it? You know, if these children have been taken away by somebody and are still alive, please God, please God, please God, that can make tongues loose, can't it? $150,000. Just a massive amount of money, especially in the circles that Daniel and Malehya move in, if it's true that there are drugs, you know, involved somehow in this case, which, got to be honest, looking at the property, the state of the property, reminded me a bit of Phoebe's, where Phoebe was staying, you know, the Australian case, where Phoebe was living in that horrible house before she went missing and sadly was found deceased. And her flatmates or her housemates have been arrested, haven't they, and charged with Phoebe's murder. This house looks very similar, you know, it's very unkempt. And even the grandma yesterday said she was really surprised because from what she remembered of Malehya, she was clean and tidy. So she was really surprised when she saw the state of the property. So it makes you wonder, has Malehya got involved in drugs? Because, you know, drugs can make you stop caring about things like cleaning and stuff like that. You know, you just don't see it, do you? You don't even see it. I've seen it happen to people, just deteriorate. Alcohol or drugs, you know, anything where people are abusing substances and not really concentrating on their environment. Are they not really? They're detaching from their environment one way or another. So it's a very intriguing case. And then, to me, the strangest thing in this case is that Malehya, the mother, the second day after these children disappeared, literally the next day, she went from there and went to stay with family. And now I know she's got a baby. Maybe she felt she needed moral support. But you'd have to prize me away from that area, especially that early on. I mean, as weeks go on, you know, months go by, maybe you would, you know, once the police have said to you, look, you know, they're not coming back, or it's not likely that they're going to come back, or depending on your circumstances. But, you know, not on the second day. Don't give up hope on the second day, do you? You know, you just don't. So it's a very odd case, and that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to look at this reward. We're going to look at this interview that's popped up from a relative of Malehya saying they believe and they're convinced, and again, it's only them saying this is not official, that Malehya knows what Malehya asked somebody to take the children away, and she knows where the children are. Was it to get them away from Daniel? You know, I don't know. But anyway, this is what this relative is saying. So we're going to listen to that. So first of all, I didn't put my banner on. Feels very early in the morning, but it's a relief as well in a way not to be talking about mushrooms, isn't it? No mushroom trial today for those of you that are following the mushroom trial. There's nothing happening today, nothing happening Monday. The next time we'll be covering the mushroom trial will be Tuesday. So yeah, it's nice to wake up this morning and see this news, which could potentially be good news about these children. I hope. I've been praying all morning, literally praying all morning. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for being members. We had an interesting members live last night. We talked about paranormal and UFOs, or this new name that they're called now that I've forgotten already. And as always, you know, we had a nice chat, a nice chinwag, and you know, it's the members' lives are sort of different, aren't they? They're more relaxed. You know, and we tried last night. We decided we weren't going to do any, or I decided, I suppose, we weren't going to do any true crime last night. Okay, so yeah, thank you for those of you who are members, of course. Thank you for those of you who send super chats or buy Ko-fis. Thank you for those that have bought merchandise, which is on my Ko-fi page. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the nice messages. I had some lovely messages to wake up to this morning. You know, which is nice because occasionally you do wake up to, like, if not a nasty message, but like someone who doesn't appreciate your work, let's say. But this morning, it was such lovely messages. Thank you so much. So, yeah, is today going to be a day of good news? Please, God. Okay, let's get rid of the banner. Ooh. So, hello, lovely lurkers. Thank you so much for watching, all you nice lurkers out there. I really appreciate you watching my channel. Thank you. Loathsome lurkers, as always, you can go and watch somebody else. Thank you to Replay Crew. If you're watching on replay, thank you for that. And now I'm going to say hello to those of you who are brave enough to come into the chat. And as always, we just be careful what we say in the chat. We don't give away too much personal information. And we're nice to each other. I don't really have to tell my regular chatters all that, I don't think. Hi, David. Hi, Bluebell. Yes, do you know this necklace, collar, whatever you call it? I bought this to go with a dress. And you know, it's about 15 years old, probably. I've still got the dress as well. It's a dress that I paid the most I've ever paid for a dress. I will get it out at some point. Every summer I wear it at least once. Get the value for money out of it, because I did pay quite a lot of money for it. It's silk. And it was like a ball gown, for a big do that I was going to. And since then I've had it shortened, so I can now wear it as a normal dress. And every year I trot it out at least once. I need to throw it away at some point, really. But anyway, I bought this to go with it because it's the colours of it. And I just saw it there. And because I've got like shorts, sorry, a bit of fashion lesson. I've got shorts on this sort of bluey type colour. So anyway, that's why. But thank you for the compliment. Hi, Annie. Oh, and Annie likes it too. Yeah, I'm glad I nearly threw it away, last year. I thought, I don't know if I'll ever wear that again, because it's, let me I'll put my cross over the top of it. I need a new chain for this cross actually as well. The chain's not too clever. Yeah, I nearly threw it away last year because I don't really like, purple's not a favourite colour of mine. And I thought, will I ever wear anything purple? But of course, it's got the other colours in it, the blue and everything. So, right, sorry about the waffle. So let's get on to this. I'm feeling quite I was feeling really happy when I saw this news this morning. I just felt, oh my God, a little bit of hope that maybe these two children are alive. So the first thing I saw was on X. Somebody saying, is it that one? No, it's here. Someone talking about this Durwood O'Grady. And this is one of Malehya's relatives, apparently. Now, as I say, this is just on the YouTube streets. It's not always true what you see on YouTube, is it? We know that. Social media. I think I just want it to be true. And he claims that Jack and Lily's mother, Malehya Brooks Murray, put the missing children in a vehicle to be taken away. And he doesn't trust RCMPNS. I've no idea what that means. What is that? Oh, he doesn't trust the Nova Scotia police. And now, allegedly, the stepfather, Daniel Martel, describes Malehya as on the run. So this is what we're going to look at to start with. Then we're going to look at this. And then, in the same sort of time span, in a way, this $150,000 reward. Now, that's a lot of money for the police to offer, for the authorities to offer. They don't normally offer that amount of money, straight off, do they? So does that mean they think they've got a chance of actually attracting someone's attention? So let's watch this clip. that's on YouTube. Oh, sorry, on Twitter.
That Malehya dressed the kids and took them to the roadside and put them in a vehicle. I'm about 80% sure I know who was driving the vehicle. I know who's in the vehicle.
Okay.
And I know who transported the kids. I'm very, very, very close to being 100% on that one. And when I finish finding out for sure, for absolute sure, then I'm gonna be able to find where those kids got delivered to. But every indication through everywhere is yes, Malehya knows where they're at. And her bailing today was another large indication to me, because I think she was informed very quickly that I stated a name. I inquired about a name, and I was eavesdropped on, and I dropped the name because I wanted to be eavesdropped on.
Right.
Because the person that was eavesdropping, I was very suspicious of being involved. And before I got back home, I got the phone call that Malehya had grabbed the baby, panicked, and took off. That Malehya.
So, well, I'm going to play it again in a minute. What do you think? I mean, can it be true? Can it be true? Could it be true? I just hope it is true. As you say, Bluebell, the police have got to be aware. YouTube, everyone's aware of it. It's public knowledge. So whether he trusts the police or not, yeah. Now the full interview. Let's just listen to this one more time. Then I'm going to show you where the full interview is.
Dressed the kids and took them to the roadside and put them in a vehicle.
Dressed the kids, took them to the roadside and put them in a vehicle. Now, it sort of makes sense in a way. I just hope it's true. Please, God, let it be true. It's just better than thinking of him roaming around the woods having an accident or somebody doing something horrible to them, foul play. It means that if this is true, it means they're alive and probably safe somewhere. And it's just, we want that to be, don't we? Could you imagine these kids finally, the police announcing that they've been found and they're safe and well? It's against all odds. It's like you want to hope, but you're scared to hope. I mean, thing is, I do think it's funny that Malehya disappeared so quickly. So quickly. One day after the children went missing, she was gone. She was gone. Very odd.
I'm about 80% sure I know who was driving the vehicle. I know who's in the vehicle.
Okay.
And I know who transported the kids. I'm very, very, very close to being 100% on that one. And when I finish finding out for sure, for absolute sure, then I'm gonna be able to find where those kids got delivered to. But every indication through everywhere is yes, Malehya knows where they're at. And her bailing today was another large indication to me, because I think she was informed very quickly that I stated a name. I inquired about a name, and I was eavesdropped on, and I dropped the name because I wanted to be eavesdropped on.
Right.
The person that was eavesdropping, I was very suspicious of being involved. And before I got back home, I got the phone call that Malehya had grabbed the baby, panicked, and took off.
So, it depends. Do we take that with a pinch of salt, or do we take it seriously? Why would he say that? But, people do get involved and say things that aren't true, don't they? The grandma yesterday, the paternal grandmother, said she thought these children were dead. She thinks the children are deceased. We had the rescue team saying they thought the children were in the woods. And now we've got this guy saying Malehya took them. Let's have a look at
dressed the kids and took them to the...
Sorry. So let's have a look. So this is the full video. This, I don't actually know this. Joseph Morris is not a YouTuber that I know, but he must generally do crime. 631,000 subscribers. He's just got one more. I'm going to subscribe to him. It's on his channel. Now, is it possible that this is some way? Well, how long is the video? All right, we could have a look at the video. It's not that long. Hope he doesn't mind me showing it and commenting on it. Fair use, fair use.
And if there were, I think there, if you to the god idiot.
I don't think it's his original interview because it sounds like a woman that's speaking to this guy. So I don't know where the original interview comes from.
That are still holding on to those kids. I want to say this: if you panic, we're zeroing in on you, and you know it. The last couple of days, they know we're zeroing in on them. Mm-hmm. And if you panic and hurt those kids, thinking that you're going to hurt them and get rid of them and not get nailed, you're wrong. Because we're already very close to having you. Bring those kids to the light.
I mean, who is this person that supposedly has taken him? I mean, they're not going to hurt them, surely, if they know the mother. If she's asked somebody to take the children away, let's suppose it's true. Maybe she was trying to get away from Daniel. You know, we don't know all the ins and outs of what was going on in that relationship. But I think one thing that could give us a clue is looking at the state of the house. It's not, you know, she had a baby there as well. It's not like the perfect environment for anyone, is it? Never mind kids. But the way he's talking is, oh, if you panic and hurt those kids, well, surely if it's the mother that's asked someone to take these people away, take the children away, surely she's not going to condone them harming them.
After Jack and Lilly Sullivan's relative, Darewood O'Grady, came forward with claims that their mother, Malehya Brooks Murray, orchestrated their removal from the home, stepfather Daniel Martel has revealed that Malehya has fled her mother's house and is now on the run, with Jack and Lilly presumed to be alive. Darewood, from Malehya's side of the family but connected to Daniel through work, spoke to Sonny Austin and Charmaine Swart on It's a Crime and Shame YouTube channel, first appearing on Dolly Vision's platform. Spinning.
Oh God! Now I've got, you know, I don't like criticizing other YouTube channels, but you know, there are some YouTube channels that they are a bit dramatic and they do put things on that aren't always exactly true, don't they? So I hope what this man is saying is the truth. I honestly hope so. Please, God, let it be the truth. But yeah,
a tale that's got tongues wagging. He's adamant Malehya handed the kids off to someone on the property's edge, a theory backed by Daniel's Facebook chat with A Crime and Shame, where he noted the kids' scent, tracked by dogs, vanished at the end of.
What how do see, this is something that I'll never understand. How do people like Daniel Martel or anyone get involved in Facebook chats with YouTube channels? You know, if I spoke to Daniel or any, you know, I would send a private message and see if they wanted to respond or whatever, and anything they said to me would be completely confidential. But I would not have a public Facebook chat. Or is this a private chat that has been, you know, revealed? Like, you know, I've seen this on TikTok as well. People get into private chats with social media people, and then they you know, their confidence that they put in that person, the person then comes out and shows their chats or says what they've said. You should never ever do that. That's what's bizarre to me. So according to this, again, I'm just reading it, what's more strange is that nothing's been found in the woods. It's bizarre. And then he's supposedly having this Facebook chat with It's a Crime in Shame. Now, I don't know anything about It's a Crime in Shame. I don't know. So I'm not going to comment on that YouTube channel. I've never, ever watched it, ever. I have watched Dolly Vision occasionally, but, you know, it's just not for me.
The driveway. Darewood's pushing this angle, hoping to jumpstart the stalled case, though he's skeptical of the Mounties' ability to follow through, despite reporting it to them. The day after the kids went missing, Malehya, her baby Meadow, and her mother, Cindy Murray, hightailed it to Wentworth. Malehya's mother...
Yeah, off they went the day after. She's very young, Malehya, isn't she? You know, I mean, I know, you know, at the end of the day, you can have children from 14 probably, but, you know, when I see these she's got 3 children and she looks about 12 herself. I know she's not that young, but just why has she gone? You know, if the children are supposedly still in that area, that's what makes me, I don't think they are in that area now. The more I think about it, the more logical it is to me that Malehya maybe does know where they are. And that's why she's left. Because I can't see how she would leave, how any mother could leave. Literally a day after their children go missing. How could you leave that area? Whether you've got a baby or not. You know, so seems likely, and I hope it is true. I mean, the thing is, it reminds me a bit of the Shannon Matthews case in the UK. The thing is, if this is some sort of false disappearance for whatever reason, it's hard then to suddenly say, oh, by the way, the kids are there, you know, just, oh, by the way, only joking, they haven't really disappeared, you know, after a month of people looking for them and everything. It's hard then. When do you sort of, maybe they didn't realise that, she didn't realise it would turn into this sort of massive international, national thing, you know, maybe she thought it would just go under the radar. You know, because not all missing children cases do reach this further, do they? So maybe she's at, how does she say, well, actually, I knew where they were all the time. I'm sure the police are dealing with it. I don't know. But
Cindy then told reporters that the RCMP barred them from media chats. But a CBC reporter said that just wasn't true. They were only warned to mind what they shared to the media. The relative Darewood figures that Malehya caught wind he was onto her, and that caused her to fled to the Sippaconactic Reserve, taking Meadow with her and fleeing her mother, Cindy Murray's house in Wentworth. So he figures that maybe she went there to snag a lawyer for cover as this case is heating up.
Oh, she definitely needs a lawyer. She definitely needs a bloody lawyer. But, you know, her running away is very shady, isn't it? Very sketchy. Why go away? You would want to be there when your babies were found. Of course you would. Good. I hope though that, you know, I know that it's she'll be facing charges and that if it turns out she does know where they are and that, but I hope it's true. I really do, because these little ones, please, God, let them be okay.
Then I believe the person that eavesdropped on me, I intentionally let them eavesdrop on me, and then I believe they directly called Malehya, and within a half an hour, Malehya had panicked and grabbed the baby, grabbed Meadow, and took off from Cindy's place, which is her mother's place in Wentworth.
Right.
And that's where she's been staying under 24-hour supervision by CPS. But anyway, she fought with her mother. Her mother tried to keep her there physically and couldn't keep her there. And Malehya headed, what I was told by the other family members who called me back right away, and that she had grabbed the baby and ran and headed for the reserve in Shubenacadie. Why she would head for the reserve, I don't know.
Yeah, why is she running away? And apparently, according to him, now don't forget, this guy could be talking a load of rubbish. He's supposedly some relative, but he could be Fred Bloggs from up the road. You know, we don't know. He could be just interjecting himself in it. That wouldn't be the first time those kind of things happen, will it? But according to him, so she's gone off to this sort of reservation type place. But you can't run away from the police, can you? Especially when you've got a baby. I mean, the baby Meadow is Daniel's baby, and he says he just wants the baby back. How's he going to get custody of that baby living in that house where he lives?
And I don't know for sure if that's where the chief of the Micmac Reserve, it's his brother that's her lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
And the only thing I can think of in that, and not so, what I don't know, I'll say I don't know. What I know, I know. Now, I don't know exactly why she ran for the reserve, but the only connection I can think of is that her lawyer's there. Maybe she thinks she can get some kind of, I don't know, legal protection or whatever, because I think she realizes that the jig is up. And I think she realized that I knew more than I made an educated guess, and I think I was right, and it made her panic.
Daniel's been vocal about Malehya's mental state, saying the chatter is messing with her head, especially with Meadow in the mix. Belinda Gray, paternal grandma to Jack and Lily's biological dad, hasn't seen Malehya since Meadow's birth 6 months ago, fueling talk of postpartum struggles. Darewood on It's a Crime and Shame suggested Malehya might be at risk of self-deleting. So before the kids vanished, Malehya and Daniel were butting heads.
Oh my God. Well, if her mental health is bad, she shouldn't have that baby with her, should she? This is a right mess, isn't it, this case? It's like, the police need to get a handle on this. The police can't say that they don't know about him. It's all over bloody YouTube, for God's sake. If I know about it, I just Googled Jack and Lilly to see what was going on, and it all comes up. And then on X, it all comes up on there. So, the police can't say they didn't know about it. So what are the police doing? Well, we don't know. So the police could be doing a lot for all we know. I bloody hope so. Thing is, if she has got, depression after giving birth, she should not have the baby with her, because, we've seen like some terrible things happen when people have got postpartum depression. It's a terrible thing, and that baby is not safe.
And she was spilling her beefs about him to the family, which Darewood thinks pushed her to get Jack and Lily out.
What I think happened, what I'm pretty sure happened, is Malehya, they had a few arguments, they had a bad stretch for a while.
Right.
And Malehya was complaining to some members of the family. And she lost her temper or lost her control a little bit, and she was like seriously complaining, saying she wanted out of there and stuff like this, right? And then there was some stuff she said that really wasn't true, but I think she was exaggerating her position. Now, some members of the family took that seriously, and they decided on their own. To look into it, right? And then she made a bad mistake. There was some people involved with her. They made a...
He seems to know an awful lot, this guy, doesn't he? I mean, does he really, though? Does he? Or is he just making it up himself for attention? Who knows? But see, the thing is, how old is Malehya? Does anybody know how old she is? She's very young to have 3 children, isn't she? This is... children having children, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? I know you think at that age you know everything, but of course you don't. How old was Malehya, or is Malehya, I wonder? Looks early 20s, is she? Maybe she's older, I don't know. Maybe she's older and she just looks younger. I've spelt Malehya wrong in the thumbnail. I'll have to change that, or maybe I won't. Everybody knows who I mean. Oh God, I can't, because I can't spell a bloody name. I can't find out how old she was. Yeah, I've definitely spelt her name wrong. Ah, her Facebook page is still up. Let's just have a look at her Facebook page. Now, she's only got 106 friends, which is not much. You know, I've got about 1,000 friends on Facebook. I don't know half of them, you know, and I rarely go on Facebook these days, to be honest. But yeah, so she's 3rd of May, she posted, I want an Amber Alert for my children. I want my babies home. My children are not shy to strangers and will go with anyone. They don't understand stranger danger. At this point, they may have been taken. Please send an Amber Alert now. So apparently that's what she posted on the 3rd of May. Oh. So these are, so in December, this was a post. So she's got the picture of the 2 missing children there, and this is the baby, Meadow. Two little sweeties on the 10th of April. Yeah, so her Facebook page is still going. It's got all these pictures of the little ones on it. Oh, she's single, according to her Facebook page. So I don't know if she was in a relationship before with Daniel. You know, where it's like Facebook. It's like I would never put in a relationship or anything like that because, you know, people notice. How many times do people put in a relationship lasts about 2 weeks and then it's single again? Anyway, she's describing herself as single on her Facebook page. So she's obviously had enough of Daniel for one reason or another. Do we even know why? Let's go back to this interview.
Bad mistake thinking they were doing something good. And before they realized what happened, things blew up so quick. The Mounties moved in so quick with the dogs.
Right.
The searchers and everything started so quick that by the time they realized, Jesus, what did we do? It was gone too far. They couldn't back out of it. I'm very sure at this point that Malehya dressed the kids and took them to the roadside and put them in a vehicle. I'm about 80% sure I know who was driving the vehicle. I know who was in the vehicle.
Okay.
And I know who transported the kids. I'm very, very, very close to being 100% on that one.
Well, it seems very certain, and as I say, I just hope it's true. I hope that somebody has got those kids, some friend of Malehya's. Maybe Malehya's met up with them now. Maybe she's been reunited with the kids. I just hope it's true. And this guy, this is a relative of Malehya.
And when I finish finding out for sure, for absolute sure, then I'm going to be able to find where those kids got delivered. But every indication through everywhere is yes, Malehya knows where they're at. And her bailing today was another large indication to me because I think she was informed very quickly that I stated a name. I inquired about a name, and I was eavesdropped on, and I dropped the name because I wanted to be eavesdropped on.
Right.
Because the person that was eavesdropping, I was very suspicious of being involved. And before I got back home, I got the phone call that Malehya had grabbed the baby, panicked, and took off.
Logan, a cousin, told a TikToker the stepbrother's brother wasn't living in a trailer on the property. Just Jenny, the stepdad's mom, who saw Malehya looking.
Look, you know, just, oh, a TikTok this, and, you know, he's talking to a YouTuber. Talk to the police. Honestly, I don't understand this. If this was my family, one of my family members, their children had gone missing, and I heard something on the family grapevine, that's basically what he's saying, isn't it? Through the family grapevine, he's heard something that Malehya is involved in these children's disappearance, that she got someone to take them away for whatever reason. Now, if that was my family, you know, and I've got a big family, and if it was, I don't know what relative he is to Malehya. Is he an uncle? Is he a cousin? What is he? And I heard something on the family grapevine about where these children might be. I won't be talking to, you know, no offense to It's a Crime and Shame or any TikToker or whatever. I wouldn't be talking to them. I'd be straight to the police, thank you. What are you talking to a YouTuber about it for? What are you talking to a TikToker about it for? Go to the police. What's It's a Crime and Shame going to do? She can't go there and rescue those children. You know, you're putting those children more at risk by talking to a YouTuber about it. Because if somebody else taken those children, and he's talking about, oh, if they panic, and well, they're going to panic now, aren't they? Because you've told the whole of the YouTube world that you've got this person has got these children. Go to the police. They're the ones that can save the children. God, why do people talk to YouTubers? You know, this like Seth again, isn't it? In the beginning of the Sebastian Rogers case, talking to all the bloody YouTubers, whinging, complaining about Katie and Chris, you know, and then them getting angry or Chris getting angry. Talk to the police. Don't live out your missing child's life through YouTube. Now, listen, as time goes on, you know, people do, when they have missing people, go on a YouTube channel maybe to appeal for help in finding them or whatever. That's a whole different thing. That's not like going on a YouTube channel and gossiping about what might have happened. So this Daniel, he's another one. You know, the stepfather. God, what about these poor kids?
Caught right after the kids were likely whisked away.
Well, here's my understanding on Janie. Malehya never thought that Janie was home at the time in the morning, that early in the morning.
Right.
Malehya was on the side of the road, and Janie showed up and surprised the shit out of Malehya.
She was on the side of the road?
Yep. I believe this is not fact.
Okay. Speculation.
I can't prove it.
Okay.
I believe that Janie just missed the kid transfer. I believe that Janie just missed the kids being put into a vehicle. She didn't know that Janie was home. She never thought Janie was home. So I think her plan was, when those kids went down the road, I think Daniel was sleeping. I think she was going to go back in, take the baby, and bail. But you see, Janie was home and got awakened and came out to the side of the road. And that's when you've heard Daniel say that she was kind of stunned on the side of the road and looking guilty when he came out, because Janie was already there, and that she was looking guilty and that she was playing with her phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think like Janie sort of caught her unintentionally and didn't know she caught her. Like, you know, she wondered what she was doing out the side of the road that early.
Right.
And from what I understand, the conversation, Janie never had much. Janie looked at Malehya and said, "What did you do?" And Malehya just stood there stunned. Now that's what I heard. And now this part of this I can't prove because I wasn't there.
Right.
Do you know what? One day I'm going to put out a video. I'm going to do a clickbait thumbnail saying, oh, you know, some crap that people do on these YouTube channels and TikToks. And then, you know, when people click into it, probably get about 1 million views, because I'll just say something completely ridiculous. And then when people click on it, I'll just say, got you, you know, because you can't. This guy, he literally is just saying what he thinks. So, okay, maybe a relative of Malehya, maybe he does know that little bit more. Maybe he's right what he's saying, but he should be talking to the police. Not it's a crying shame, shouldn't he? What's he doing? You know, if he's got, if you get, even if it's just a feeling, you know, that you know something about a case, you've got to go to the police, because it's the police that will rescue these kids from wherever they are. Won't be the lady from It's a Crying Shame. It won't be this guy. It won't be me. I won't be flying over to Nova Scotia to rescue those kids. That's what the mounted police will be doing, the Canadian police. Just because he doesn't trust the police. So what, is he going to go and rescue them then? Is he?
Sherwood reckons that this was Malehya's shot at a clean break, sending Jack and Lilly off before bolting with Meadow. Jimmy Williams of Dolly Vision screamed in a live stream, quote, "Malehya is on the run with Meadow. Be on the lookout. Talked to Daniel last night. He said he would visit Malehya in prison," end quote. And these are the messages of Daniel Martel.
I've got to say, you know, Dolly Vision, he is too dramatic for my liking. I've watched him over the Sebastian Rogers case. I've watched it, you know, that I think that's when I have watched him. I don't watch him anymore. And again, no offense, because, you know, every YouTuber has their own way, and he's got a lot of followers and people obviously like him. But it's not for me. He does dramatize things far too much, in my opinion. Because, you know, you've got to be careful what you say. Now, this is evidence, like when Daniel is actually writing his messages, then I would take that as evidence. These are actual messages by Daniel Martel. I'm going to have a look for him in a minute on Facebook. So kids are alive. Polygraph exam questions were all on death and everyone passed. He said that, didn't he? We watched that video of him saying that he passed his polygraph. I hope the kids are alive. Please, God, like, all I care about is these kids are alive. You know, it's like, that's all that matters to me. I don't care what problem Malehya's having with Daniel. I couldn't give a shit about their relationship or what's right, what's wrong, whether she's a good mother, whether she's a bad mother. I don't care. Just want those kids to be all right. You know, it's like, where are they? You know, is this going to descend into the same sort of SHIT show as the Sebastian Rogers case? You know, we don't, where are these little kids? So I'm just got some things coming up here. Malehya's family accuses Daniel of abuse of the children. Can't find Daniel's actual Facebook page. Yeah, I need to look at that. I need to look more. Oh, hang on, is that it? No. Yeah, need to have a proper look and try and find his Facebook, see what's going on. As I say, why is he talking to YouTubers? Anyway, he says he's passed the lie detector test, and everybody's passed the lie detector test. And I hope it's true, because I hope it is true that those kids are still alive. Please, God.
YouTube account in his live stream. Daniel says, "Kids are alive. Polygraph exam questions were all on death and everyone passed. She has Meadow and is on the run. Malehya is on the run from RCMP. What don't you get? Malehya knows everything. I want Meadow, not Malehya. It's not abduction. That's criminal investigation."
Now, the only thing is, so now this is not his Facebook account. Now I'm realizing this is somebody answering. The YouTube, this might not even be him. You know, people, you know, quite often on YouTube, on the internet, pretend to be somebody else, don't they? Let's have a look, see if I can find it. So that might not be anything to do with him at all. Could be just made up. No. People do it. I had it happen in the Nicola Bulley case. You know, people go on there and pretend to be some person that's involved in the case. You know, and look, he's saying that it's not abduction, that's criminal investigation. It's a missing persons case. Is that even really him? You know, so I'll take that with a pinch of salt, to be honest.
Investigation. It's missing persons case. Yes, she's terrified investigators are close. She couldn't stay around me because she would crack. I would find out. And this apparently linked back to his confirmed YouTube account. The kids are now added to
hang on, he said, oh, this apparently linked back to his confirmed YouTube account. Where's that? Where's that then?
Around me because she would crack. I would find out. And this apparently linked back to
Daniel Martel. Why can't I find it? Because if I want to see when it was created. When was that YouTube channel created? Like with all the Nicola Bulley false accounts, they were all created just around the time that Nicola disappeared. Well, I can't find it at the moment. I need to, it'd probably take me a little while to find it, but, you know, it's all right.
To his confirmed YouTube account. The kids are now added to Nova Scotia's rewards program with $150,000 for any solid tips. So, I mean, this case is heating up. So hit subscribe and comment because I read every single one. Thanks, guys.
Well, whew. So I think you could safely say it is heating up. But whether these things are true or not, I don't know. Anyway, right, what we're going to look at now is a news article talking about the reward. So we do know that that's true, at least. Well, say we do. I'm presuming that this global news, hopefully, you know, the thing is, all the, you know, you just think sometimes on the internet, you pay your money and take. I wish the police would say something because we need some official confirmation of stuff, don't we? We need some official confirmation, like if they did pass the lie detector test. You know, it's all right. Daniel's saying it, but did he? You know, did he really? I mean, maybe he did. So the province offers $150,000 reward in search for Lilly and Jack. So this was yesterday, this article, at 8 p.m., probably Spanish time. It's a lot of money, isn't it? So I think for the police to offer that, or the province to offer that, surely they must feel that somebody might, you know, give in. Look at these two little faces. Please let them be alive. Please, please, let's watch.
The province of Nova Scotia is offering a reward of up to $150,000 for any information relating to the two siblings who were reported missing last month. 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home on May 2nd in Lansdowne Station in Pictou County. In a brief phone call today, the children's maternal grandmother told Global News the family's focus is on finding Lilly and Jack, and they hope this reward will help. Premier Tim Houston says he's also hoping for the safe return of the children. Nova Scotia's Justice Minister says the province is doing everything they can to support the RCMP in the investigation.
Everyone's obviously still hoping for the safe return of the children. It's a really difficult thing. The whole community is feeling that emotion. So I know there's been a tremendous effort and response to try to find them, and the response continues, and we're all just hoping for the safe response.
We appreciate the work of the investigators, the RCMP, and others who responded in the early days and as the case has unfolded. To support the search and now the investigation. We really appreciate the work that they've been doing, and we want to do everything we can to support that.
And Drouin says while she can't speak to specifics, rewards like this from the province have generated information for previous cases, and she hopes it does the same for this one.
Yeah, so
all decked out in their white leather Evel Knievel attire, 50 riders just completed a week.
Yeah. $150,000. And this disappearance has been added to the province's major unsolved crimes programme, which the province says is a tool to help police in major unsolved crime cases. Let's have a look at that. There they are. Yeah, on the major unsolved crimes programme. Which is good in a way, but it's also very sad, isn't it? So in a brief call, the children's maternal grandmother, Malehya's mum, told Global News that the family's focus is on finding Lilly and Jack, and they hope the reward will help the case. So in a Thursday news release, Becky Drouin, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, said the disappearance of Jack and Lilly Sullivan is felt across the province and beyond. My heart goes out to the family, the community, and everyone who's been working to find these children since day one. Police and investigators are working tirelessly to find answers, and I urge anyone with information, please share it with the RCMP as soon as possible. Yeah, not with YouTubers. Let's have a look what this is. A policing expert. He believes it's a criminal case. But again,
if this is not
opinion.
a criminal investigation now, I'd be totally surprised.
It's been almost 6 weeks since Lilly and Jack Sullivan were first reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station. On Wednesday, the RCMP in Nova Scotia said many RCMP units, including major crime, are involved in the investigation, along with the National Centre for Missing Persons. Police say they formally interviewed 54 people in their search, and this former Halifax regional police officer doesn't take that lightly.
They're out there, and the only way they're going to see or get results in this is to be out there talking to people, looking at videos, looking at topography and what have you, and so on. They're not in offices doing this by a laptop, let's put it that way.
In an update this week, the RCMP say they've collected hundreds of hours of video from areas surrounding Lansdowne Station between April 28th and May 2nd, when the kids went missing, and have received nearly 500 tips from the public. Police say they've searched every aspect of the family's home and received authorization to seize and examine devices.
They'll go on the balance of probabilities based on the area that we fully searched with a lot of people. We can't find any evidence, be it a backpack, a shoe, or whatever. We can't find the kids. If you can't find them, somebody has to say enough is enough right now for searching those areas.
Now, it does make sense because nothing has been found, just no trace of these kids. Well, having said that, don't forget the child's boot print that was found and the piece of Lily's blanket, apparently, that was found. But of course, they could have been from whenever. But it makes sense, that maybe the children could have been packed up and taken off. That road, remember, we looked and the road is so close by to the house. So I think it'd be easy for, while Daniel was asleep, for Malehya to take the kids out and put them in a car with someone. Now, I don't know if that's what happened. I'm just saying, I think it would be quite easy if Daniel was asleep.
So now we move to where? There's only one other option. On nefarious take to this. In other words, a criminal type thing. That's only my personal opinion.
Police say they've used polygraph tests in some interviews. This former polygraph examiner south of the border says the test is used to monitor how a person's nervous system responds to certain questions.
If somebody is successful in the test, then not that they're being eliminated, but they'll spend more time on people that are not successful. Not passing the test doesn't mean you're guilty or you're involved. It simply means that there's some issue there. Maybe.
Yeah, passing a polygraph test is not the be all and end all because you can't admit it in court for a start. So yeah, it's good. You know, we saw yesterday, Daniel was delighted, wasn't he, that he passed that lie detector test. But that, again, that's difficult to know. Was he delighted just because he passed it? Because I'll tell you what, if somebody, although, you know, like if you're innocent, you think, oh yeah, you'd volunteer for a lie detector test. But, you know, you would be a little bit scared, wouldn't you? Because, you know, I just think, God, I get so nervous about things like that. I'd think, God, maybe it'd come up I was lying. But I think the lie detector tests are designed to take nervousness into account, because anyone who takes a lie detector test, especially over a serious crime like missing children, you know, they're going to be nervous, aren't they? So they must take all that into account. And generally, people who pass lie detector tests are innocent. But there have been people who have been guilty but have passed lie detector tests, especially psychopaths and that, because they don't get nervous. You know, if you're a psychopath, you've got no empathy, you've got no emotions and things, you don't get nervous. So it's not going to register, is it? Whereas I think an innocent person could easily get nervous. And it could register as guilty just because, or maybe there's something else. It's like if you, I mean, think about, I remember once years and years ago, I had no insurance on my car. I mean, it shows you how long ago it was. It was in Manchester. Like you couldn't do, it was a Sunday. You couldn't do things by internet then. There was no internet. So I was going to, this car literally only just bought. It was just an old banger. And I was going to insure it the next day on the Monday. And I needed something from the shop. Do you know what? It may have even been some, you know, like female hygiene products, you know, that you need once a month. It was something that I needed to go to the shop. And of course it was a Sunday. So the only one was open that was open was some shop, you know, like, I don't know, you know, not within walking distance of where I lived. And I thought, I'm going to go in the car, even though I had no insurance. Which I know is naughty, but anyway, I did it. Hey, you know, like put me in prison. But to get these products, oh, of course, what happens? I get stopped by the police. You know, just typical, isn't it? And I think the reason that I got stopped by these police, or this guy, it was just one guy in a police car, is because when I saw the police car, I started getting nervous. And I was driving like, I must have been driving too slow, I think, you know, trying so hard, you know, to put my indicator on to drive properly, etc. So I'm thinking, oh, God, he's going to stop me and get fined for not having any insurance. Anyway, sure enough, he stopped me. And he said something about the back light or whatever, because they used to have a reason to stop you. And he said to me, have you been drinking? And I said, no, I haven't. And I hadn't been drinking. I wouldn't have been driving if I was drinking. And he gave me a breathalyzer test. And of course, I passed it because I hadn't had a drink. But you could tell he was suspicious. He knew that I was nervous about something. So the point I'm trying to get to here is, could you imagine if you're given a lie detector test? Now you're innocent of the crime that they think you've done, but maybe there's something else that you've done that's wrong and you feel guilty about that. You know, you're a bit nervous about that. And that's how it was with this. I see this policeman was looking at me. He knew there was something wrong. He had a look through my car. He didn't check the insurance, but then, of course, you couldn't do it on the online then. He didn't even ask me about insurance or whatever. He felt there was something strange, but he did not ask me about insurance. And he gave me the breathalyzer test. Of course, I passed the breathalyzer test. And he just said, oh, get your light fixed. And, okay, you can go. And I was like, phew. And then the next day, I was up the insurance office getting or on the phone or whatever. You could do it over the phone then. I don't know if you could even do it over the phone. I think those were the days where you actually had to go into an office and do it. Anyway, because I am that old. But yeah, I wonder if you could fail a lie. If I had to take a lie detector test, I'd be so busy panicking that I might fail it. Whether I was, even if I wasn't guilty. They're funny. That's why they're not admitted in court, I suppose.
Some knowledge, guilty knowledge.
Moriello says he's seen people pass tests who were later proven guilty. More than 160 search and rescue volunteers have scoured through the densely wooded area surrounding the children's home, but only a small boot print was found. Police continue to refer to the case as a missing persons investigation.
They're covering it all, everything they can. And you only do that in depth when there's a criminal investigation with major crime on scene. They're not there just because they're major crime. They're there to do their major crime work.
Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Halifax.
Right, let's have a look at the next thing. Oh.
With the ringing of this bell, we hereby declare the second...
Keeps going on to other videos that I don't want to watch. So... Right, we watched that. I think there's one more video to watch. So, yeah, people who come forward with the information must provide their name and contact information and may be called to testify in court. All calls will be recorded. So, that's what he should do. That guy that was talking to all the YouTubers, he needs to try and claim his $150,000 reward. So, RCMP have previously said they obtained video footage of the children with their family in public, taken the day before they were reported missing. And the search for Lilly and Jack has involved hundreds of hours of searching in difficult terrain near the children's rural home. And once the search was scaled back, more targeted operations in areas around the home have been conducted. So Lilly is 4 feet tall and about 60 pounds. She was wearing a pink Barbie top and pink rubber boots with a rainbow at the time of her disappearance. She was also carrying a backpack with a strawberry print. Jack is described as being 3 feet 6 and 40 pounds and was wearing a pull-up diaper, black Under Armour jogging pants and blue rubber boots with a dinosaur print. Oh, so these are the clothes they were wearing. Oh, bless. So the police did say, as part of their investigation, some people who were interviewed had undergone polygraph tests. They also revealed several national agencies, including the National Centre of Missing Persons, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, had joined the investigation. And the children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, said he had offered to take a polygraph and it had been administered. I do have results and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favour. I'll say that, he said. And he said he was aware of public and social media speculation suggesting he was involved in their disappearance, but he has strongly denied those allegations. And he indicated he has not been in contact with the children's mother since May 3rd, a day after they disappeared. And that to me is the most suspicious thing about Malehya. That's when Malehya disappeared. Even though those children supposedly were there lost in those woods, Malehya just off she went, up and went with the baby. So, one more video to watch. Let's just, so this is what they were wearing, bless them. Hey, please God, let it be true.
It was from their home in a deeply rural part of Nova Scotia that 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack seem to have disappeared without a trace. Despite multiple searches, there's been no sign and little information until the Nova Scotia RCMP released an important detail.
We have confirmed that Lilly and Jack were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st.
The children were reported missing the morning of Friday, May 2nd. Their mother has said they'd been kept home sick that day and the day before. A massive search followed until May 7th, when police announced efforts would be scaled back. Additional searches were held throughout the month. Confirmation they were seen on May 1st helps fill out the timeline.
It just shows continuity of who saw them last. Now, they don't say where they saw them.
Retired police staff Sergeant Jim Hoskins isn't involved in the case, but says it's rare for two children to go missing together. And since RCMP said early on there was no evidence of abduction.
If it's not a voluntary trek into the woods, you only have one other option if there's no abduction. That option is a criminal investigation.
The thing is, yeah, it is unusual for two children to go missing together, because if it was foul play, then it needs to be more than one person, wouldn't it? Because how's someone going to carry two children away? You know, how's someone going to do that? So this is making sense to me. I hope it's true. It's making sense to me that maybe Malehya had them taken away for whatever reason. Please, God, I hope that's true, and that these children are sat on a sofa somewhere, you know, watching the telly and having an ice cream or whatever. Please, God, let it be true.
So far, this remains a missing persons case. RCMP have been tight-lipped, but investigators are now asking for any video, like dashcam footage, taken the week the children went missing along the remote road beside their home, where residents live far apart and the woods are dense.
Everybody should come forward with any footage that they have, anything that's likely. I mean, every tip counts.
Donna, this case has generated an intense amount of attention online, sparking conspiracy theories and rampant speculation. The RCMP has cautioned the public to stick with credible sources of information as the work to find out what happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan approaches the 1-month mark.
Heidi Petracek in Halifax, thanks.
Well, you know, we've seen so many times the public, especially when there is no proper information, you know, there's always someone there to replace, you know, like that guy. I mean, you let me know what you think. This relative, is it credible information, or is it just someone who's like in some way involved in Malehya's family, just giving an opinion? Sometimes people like their 5 minutes of fame, don't they? They want to be on YouTube channels. I mean, I haven't watched that full interview with the Crime and Shame, but I hope she asked like the proper questions, because, you know, you have to check someone's credibility. You can't, someone can't just say, oh yeah, I heard this. I mean, what is behind that guy's motives for coming out and saying this? And why doesn't he just go straight to the police? You know, so, yeah. Do you know what? In Spain, you get stopped often by the police. There's police everywhere. In fact, yesterday, when I was going to the shopping centre, the police were stopping everybody. Now, they just got me to slow down. They look in the car now. I was thinking, oh God, you know, I hope they're not going to pull me up over the dogs. So the dogs were in the back of the car, and they've got leads on, and they're sort of secured, but they can be funny about that, please. But they were definitely looking for someone in particular, because they were slowing down every car that went past. It wasn't the Policia Nacional, it was the local police. They were slowing down every car that went past. And, you know, having a little look. Well, with me, they just really flagged me on. So I must look like I'm not guilty of anything. But I always start feeling guilty. As soon as I see the police, I start thinking, oh my God, I hope they don't stop me. Oh my God, you know, is my insurance up to date? You know, and I know it all is. It's just I start imagining things. I do need a new bulb, actually. But of course, it was daytime, so they won't have noticed that. One of my headlights needs, the bulb's not working properly, so I've got to get that sorted. So anyway, so you always worry. So yeah, maybe he isn't a reliable source. Anyway, I hope he is. Please God, you know. So I did when I first sort of saw about this morning. I felt a little bit positive. I'm not so sure now because I'm starting to think, well, is he even credible? But I think, you know, it does make sense that maybe Malehya, for whatever reason, did want the children away from Daniel. And maybe she doesn't know how to say now that she knows where they are, because maybe she wasn't expecting it to turn into this great big thing. But at the end of the day, when you report 2 little children missing, it's going to be a big thing, isn't it? Because little children don't just go missing of their own accord, do they? Somebody takes them away, or they have accidents. You know, little children will stay near their parents, near their home, and only go away if something untoward happens. So, okay, so I'm going to go now. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because I will be giving updates definitely on this case and, of course, all the other cases that we're looking at. We won't be looking at the mushroom murders, thank God, till Tuesday. Nice to have a break from mushrooms, that's for sure. But yeah, please leave your fingerprint on the DNA button, and I'll see you really soon in the next video. Look after you. You are the most important person, and we're going to say our prayers for Lilly and Jack that maybe it'll be resolved soon. I'm sure if the police have seen that interview by that guy, they're going to want to talk to him. Let's hope and pray this has a quick resolution. And as I say, that Lilly and Jack sat on someone's sofa eating an ice cream as we speak. Now, I don't know what clothes were taken from the house. I mean, surely the police will know that. You know, they've shown the clothes that they were wearing when they disappeared. But was anything else gone from the house? Because I would imagine if Malehya has arranged for them to be taken away somewhere, surely they would have took some things with them. Anyway, I don't know. So I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, of course, may your God go with you. And I hope, you know, Lilly and Jack, their God's going with them as well. I hope they're okay. Please God, please God, please God. Bye.